Let's make a custom chess variant. Go to the variants folder in your CGC plugin. Make a new folder and name it Elena Chess. This is where we're going to store variant-specific classes for Elena Chess. Open the Classical Chess folder, then the Classical Chess Piece Interaction folder. Duplicate the pawn interaction component and rename it from CC to EC to represent Elena Chess. This component is going to handle the special pawn interaction cases for Elena Chess. Also duplicate the king interaction component and rename that from CC to EC as well. This is basically going to be like the classical chess king interaction but without castling. Go back to your Elena Chess folder and make a new folder. Name it Elena Chess Piece Interaction. Go back to Classical Chess Piece Interaction where you duplicated those two components. Select the two of them and move them into the Elena Chess Piece Interaction folder. Go into that folder and open the pawn interaction component. Open the pawn move validation function. Zoom into the sequence node and follow the then zero line. This is the basic pawn movement section. This section checks to see if the total moves equals to 0. If it's 0, it allows the pawn move 2 squares up. But we don't need this for Elena Chess, so delete this part so that the pawn can only move 1 square at a time. Delete the branch as well. Plug your switch on int for player 0 into your basic move check for 1 square. Scroll down and do the same thing for player 1. Basically, we only want to allow the pawn move 1 square at a time, even on its first move. I'm going to move these nodes closer together since there's now all this space between them. You can also go ahead and delete the total moves check. We don't need to change the validation for captures, but we still have to remove the last section for en passant since that does not exist in Elena Chess. Let's clean up the sequence node and make sure that we remove the pins we are no longer using. I'm also going to resize my comment box and move my nodes closer because I want my graph to look nice. Don't forget to save and compile. Also, if you want to automatically save whenever you compile, just click the 3 dots next to compile and in the save on compile section, choose always. Go back to your content browser and open the king interaction validation components. Open the king move validation function. The king in Elena Chess cannot castle, so we only want to keep the basic movement code. So go ahead and delete the castle section of the code. There's no need for the sequence or the total moves check anymore. Basically, we're going to delete everything apart from the basic movement for the king. And then we're going to plug the input node for the function to the basic movement section. I'm going to clean things up and make sure it looks more straightforward. Don't forget to compile and save. Go back to the Elena Chess folder. Right-click and add a new blueprint class. Go to all classes and search for variant components. Select the base component and name it BP Elena Chess variant component. Right-click, then go to miscellaneous and select data assets. Select BP CGC layouts data assets. Name it DA_Elena Chess layouts data. Let's add the Elena Chess variant to our variant enumerator. Go to your content browser and scroll down to the structures folder. Drop it down and go to the gameplay folder. Open E_variant. Click the add enumerator button to add a new enumerator. Rename it to Elena Chess. Don't forget to save. Go back to your Elena Chess variant folder. Open the Elena Chess variant component you made earlier. Make sure that you have class defaults highlighted in the top middle of your window. You can set up your variant defaults in the details panel on the right hand side. Set the variant to Elena Chess. Set your board pattern to checkered. You can leave the notation style as algebraic. I'm going to copy the notation symbols from the classical chess variant components. The notation symbols are basically identical to Elena Chess. I'm also going to copy the piece interaction components list from the classical chess variant components. Just make sure you replace the pawn and king interaction components to the ones we just made for Elena Chess. I'm also going to copy the piece values from the classical chess variant components, but don't forget to add the flank pawn and set the piece value to 1. Next up, set the layouts data to DA underscore Elena chess layouts data. Compile and save. Let us start designing the layout of our board. Don't forget to make sure the variant component class of your board is set to none. Set board row count to 6 and the column count to 5. You should see your board update in real time. Scroll down to your square layouts. This is where you're going to define how the pieces are laid out on your squares. I'm going to remove all elements so I have a clean slate to work on. Drop down index 0, then drop down piece. You're going to see options for the rank, total moves, and player index. Once you set the rank, you'll see it update on the board in real time. This will help you visualize your board layout as you set things up. Setting the player index will determine what army the piece that occupies that square will be on. I'm going to do the same thing to set up the rest of the pieces. You can use the piece layouts here on the screen for reference. Setting up the square layouts this way makes it very easy to just copy the layout from here to our data assets, while also being able to see updates in real time. Your board layout should look like this when you're done. Go to your Elena chess layouts data assets. Set the name to Elena chess. Set your row count to 6 and your column count to 5. Click the Make Square Layout Array button on the top, and then paste in the square layouts that you just made. I'm going to drop down to make sure the paste worked, and then I'm going to save. Go back to your level editor. Then set your variant components to Elena chess variant components. You have now successfully implemented your own custom variant. You can click the play button to see what it looks like in gameplay. The video is basically complete at this point, but if you want to stick around and watch the gameplay, you can feel free.